Well, this episode did fix a problem that I had with the past two, and that people are behaving differently now and thinking a little bit different. But the problem is, in this episode, we really only got insight into half of the cast. Whoa. That's not as bad as it sounds, because half of the cast that we didn't hear about, I honestly can forgive that, because not hearing much from Abby. Well, we know how Abby behaves, okay? She's not behaving, too much differently, although my dislike of her is remarkably less than it was in Philippines, because now it's just your typical dislike of, oh yeah, she did something snarky, but she's staying in the game, mattering in her own individual way, whatever. So I can forgive that, and then not hearing from Kelly Wigglesworth, well, Dalton Ross has repeatedly stated that they tried to get stuff from her, but she just didn't give them anything to work with, so I can forgive that also. And then Keith, well, who cares about Keith? So, yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds, and I'm pretty darn sure with the double bill that we've got next week, yeah, it's 2 episodes. That should make up for it, I think. We'll find out, won't we? So everyone gets mic'd from Tribal, and I gotta admit, I actually was pretty surprised at how nonchalant everybody was. Everyone's just like, yeah, whatever, nice move there, went. Woof, we were totally surprised, and I'm surprised that no one ever came up with the idea that maybe the idol was found at the challenge, Interesting, yeah. But then it becomes perfectly clear that it's still technically the Bayon Alliance versus the Free Witches. Much better name, in my opinion. Heck, even Rob Sessionino's nickname for the Alliance, Hocus Pocus, is better than what was going on last week. That was stupid, right? So that's pretty much everything before the reward challenge, to be honest. And as for the reward challenge, I gotta admit, it was funny seeing the green team, struggle, even though I think that team winning would have been a little more interesting to hear on the reward, to be honest. But then the problem was, they actually managed to make up enough of the distance that, the funness of the blowout or the excitement of a comeback just kind of fell flat, because they were right in that area where it wasn't as huge of a blowout, but you can't really call it a comeback. So, yeah. That was a tiny bit disappointing that, I couldn't enjoy it for either of those situations. Although, on one side note to that challenge, I was glad that Jeff stated that the free numbers, had to work with how the puzzle was arranged there. So even though you know exactly what free numbers to put in, you still got to figure out which one of 6 combinations to fill it, even though I think traditionally combinations on those logs have either the highest or lowest number in the middle. I could be wrong on that. Right. So actually, there really wasn't anything to hear on the reward, to be honest, and I find it a bit of a bummer that they're focusing less on the rewards now. I mean, it could be that there really isn't that much to work with, but as Sierra stated, she doesn't really have that much to work with in her position, and then as Steven pointed out, voting blocks shift all the time, even though there are a few core ones that are a lot less likely to break apart. This episode revealed that to us, right? So then, at camp, everybody is, throwing their little bits to each other, but then they're also, looking for the idol. And, how do I feel about them, re-hiding another idol? Well, because they had previously hidden the idol at the challenges, I was like, it does make more sense that they would try to keep 2 idols in this game for as long as possible, but the problem is, if you're in the individual stage, hiding it at the challenge doesn't really work, because unlike, the tribal challenges, traditionally in individual challenges, you're not moving around as much, so that creates some complications. So when you really think about it, it does make more sense that they put it at the camp, but they do that in the 2-part stage where you think you found the idol and really you just found the clue, and then you have to get to the idol. And then for those of you who are a little bit confused by thinking that this idol might have been too obvious, not exactly, because there was an unsaid rule that was it done on camera that the idol would actually only be available to the person that found the clue. So, theoretically, had Jeremy, walked right past where the torch was and then had, like, Joe or Spencer been following him and they had seen the torch or anything like that, there still would have been time for a cameraman, to run out, get the idol, then just run away. So that was Jeremy's idol. But of course, he could have told anyone about it, and he didn't. And apparently, according to him, I don't know if I heard him right, he stated that apparently every idol is different this season. Interesting. Don't know if they've ever done that before. Right. So now, of course, everyone's going to be wondering if he's going to implore James to be voted out with 2 idols in his pocket. Even though they're actually not the only people to have 2 idols at once. Pav had 2 idols, although it wasn't entirely fair because she was given one. Right. And Jeremy not telling anyone about it? Well, it makes sense. I mean, like, given how paranoid this game is, and then also, let's face it here, given, as I stated, the personalities of himself and then, like, Steven or Spencer, eventually, odds are something is going to happen, because, I mean, like, I was right in that Spencer and Jeremy have currently teamed up, but they are really the type of people that want to take each other to the end, unless that's really their only option to get to the end. It's a complicated little bit where the only way to help myself out is to help them out, basically. Right. So then Steven starts coming up with a little bit of an idea of getting rid of Kelly Wigglesworth, but given how we haven't getting any camera time illustrating her or her importance, I'm like, really, what's the merit to this? The only reason I think, honestly, it makes sense that he'd want to go out to Kelly Wigglesworth is to weaken Joe a little bit more, because as I stated last week, 2 groups of Bayon people. You got the Bayon 3 plus Spencer, then you had Joe, Savage, Tasha, and then Kelly Wigglesworth. Well, Savage is gone, and obviously Kelly Wigglesworth left here, so that does weaken Joe, but I kind of wish that he had actually said that in this episode, because I just feel like that would have been a little bit more justified, weaken Joe, balance out the 3 witches, his bits, and also he himself illustrated last week that, I don't want them to be walking all over us, which after this episode, it really does look like they might be able to. I mean, like, I'm sure that he has a lot going through his mind, but the problem is, we just didn't get enough of it this time. Yeah. And then, like, Kimmy, since when did, she, have the break-off, with, Steven and Jeremy? I mean, like, she was the one who originally suggested get rid of Monica, although I can't remember which one of Steven or Jeremy was the first person to echo her and go, that actually wouldn't be a bad idea. So, I wish that we could hear more from that a little bit, yeah. So as for that immunity challenge, that was an interesting challenge. I really like how this time they incorporated the idea of going to a 1 leg in that challenge. That definitely made it a lot harder, and it was actually very interesting to see Abby, do so well, because I gotta be honest, I actually really did want her to win this. Yes, because I wanted to see Joe go, but I felt like that would have been a nice merit badge for her. And I'm not trying to say that Abby is so much better, okay? It's just that she's gone from crazy lowest of the low to now typical where you expect people to be. So it's not that I like her, it's just that compared to last time, well, I am liking her. That's kind of amusing, isn't it? And then, as for the advantage bit, well, I'm surprised it was actually just those 2... Steven and Spencer that went for it, and I was actually shocked that Steven actually did something right for once! Yeah, that's amusing. And then it turns out it's basically the continuation of the double vote, but this time it steals someone's vote, and that's actually very much more powerful because, okay, let's just use the final 6 as an example to compare the 2 advantages, okay? If it's the double vote, suddenly a free vote becomes a 4 free vote. In Steven's situation here, the free vote suddenly becomes a 4-2 vote. And that also has the potential, to save him and a close ally of his if it ends up being a 2-2-2 tie. So when you think about it, he's actually got loads more power than Dan did. So that's going to be very interesting. And I really hope that, unlike Dan, Steven, actually tries to use this advantage to levy his position in the game. I mean, he should not tell anyone about it right now. No way. But at some point, he should hint at the possibility, I can shake things up here. Even though I actually was with him, thinking that for this week, he probably doesn't need to use the advantage to get rid of Kelly Wigglesworth. Right. So then it becomes clear, heading into Tribal, that it's either Kelly Wentworth or Kelly Wigglesworth are going. I had been thinking that Steven was leaning towards getting rid of Wigglesworth. Spencer probably wasn't going to go join him, so it would be up to Jeremy. But if I read the votes correctly, it seems like all three of them flipped to a Kelly Wigglesworth. Oh yeah, and one other thing. Thank you, Steven, for realizing the very easy way to split the votes that Savage didn't realize last week. Just do it along gender lines. 5 guys, 3 girls, and prioritize the target. Was that so hard? Come on. I mean, it took me a while to get the brainwaves, okay, but you guys are out there constantly. I think they just should have realized this stuff, Right. But getting back to what Steve and Jeremy Spencer did, I think it's a real bad move to have all 3 of them flip, because the thing is now, Joe and Tasha, maybe not so much Keith, will know exactly how many people flipped the script. So, yeah, had you just had Jeremy join you, Steven, okay, he could have deflected a little bit of the tension, stating, well, Steven was constantly on my back, and were we really, going to allow Wigglesworth to walk right over us and get in there? Okay, he could have deflected that. Because, they're going to know it's you, okay? They just won't know who joined you. So that wasn't really that great. And then, as I pointed out last season, a big group of people versus 3 minority people, that's actually a very powerful group. Now, if it's a big power group versus 2 people, even if the big power group is fractured, I feel like that's just a lot better. And then you can still have the minority group submit to you. When there's 3 people, I really do feel like the minority group has power to grab people from the majority. So, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kimmy. So, yeah. She's gonna also realize that it's Steven, yeah. And while Sister Nino keeps trying to compare her to a Trish from Cagayan, we'll have to see how, she behaves, yeah. Because, as I stated, we didn't really understand when suddenly she became so distant from those guys. Right. And then as for, the double bill, well, the main question is simply, what's the decision going to be? Because the thing is, all of them are crying, so I don't think this is food. I think this actually could be, something to do with either loved ones or, sacrifice something for themselves personally, but possibly help other members of the team out. That's an idea. There you go.